It's time to feel the rage. Welcome to Film Rage, where we talk movies. In theaters, streaming, and classic films as well. Directors and actors beware, as you cannot hide from the rage. My name is Bryce, and I'm part of the Film Rage crew, which also includes Jim. Hey there, Jim.
Wait.
And Murray, are you here? I wasn't sure. Are you here this week, or are you not here this week?
I'm here in spirit anyway.
I heard a rumor that you were out, you were in. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, no, I'm dying. No big deal.
Hey there, Merman. Hey, that's a nice jersey you're wearing, by the way.
Yeah. Get used to it.
So with the introductions out of the way, let's rage on.
Well. Thanks to all who have been supporting us. If you love our independent podcast, please support us and join the Film Rage community by joining our membership at buymeacoffee.com/filmrageyyc. All members get special episodes and content only for members, and all members that sign up will get a special limited edition Film Rage merch item. And it's a surprise. If you cannot commit to a membership, you can still buy us a movie and dare us to see it, and we will watch it, and we hope that it's terrible. Thanks to all our listeners from everywhere, all over the world, new countries every day. This is crazy. Thanks for feeling the rage. What I'm missing.
Movies are back at Canyon Meadow Cinemas. We are open for your viewing pleasure with great new films opening weekly. All health-regulated protocols are in effect for a safe and enjoyable experience. And don't forget, we should be your first choice for your next birthday party or special event. Can't make it to the cinema? We got you covered. Order concessions from our online store, and you can either choose curbside pickup or get them delivered via Skip the Dishes, Uber Eats, or DoorDash. For more details, go to canyonmeadowscinema.ca. Here at CMC, we would like to thank you for your continued support, and we are looking forward to seeing you at the movies.
Oh, baby. We streaming. And we're streaming. And we're streaming. And we're doing what?
We're streaming, Jim.
Even Murray did a little taste of streaming.
Screaming.
Now, this first one, I think, maybe the only one that Murray actually streamed this week.
Yeah, that'd be correct.
And what a one to stream. On Shudder.
Dum dum.
Bomb.
Nice. Stereo.
All right. So, Shudder presents Boris Karloff, the man behind the monster.
Rawr.
Boris Karloff, the man behind the monster, attempts to cover the life and career of Boris Karloff and his over 60 years in cinema in about 90 minutes. Not an easy task, but it does it as well as could be expected considering the limited time. The film takes various footage from films and television over the years and combines it with interviews from film historians, actors, and directors such as Guillermo del Toro, Roger Corman, Joe Dante, and John Landis. It also interviews Karloff's daughter, Sarah, who gives more insight to Karloff the man. Although his personal life is only touched upon, as I am sure there was more to tell, seeing, he was married like 6 times over the years.
Leia.
Sometimes leaving you wanting more is, it's a good thing. But in this case, the title of the doc was The Man Behind the Monster, but we got to know very little about the man. The career was adequately covered, and I loved most of that part. But if you're going to bring up his personal and family life, then just touching upon it and then moving on left me a little bit cold. Once again, I think the doc suffers from its runtime, as I really wanted more. Still, I like the interviews. I like the overview of the film career. I like this doc. It was meh.
Okay. Murray, what'd you think?
Well, it was dry. So much so that I couldn't get through it in one sitting. About halfway through, I started falling asleep. So I shut it off and I started up again when I was a little more awake. Yeah, I mean, I guess it would help if I actually liked the subject matter more than I probably did. I mean, I know who he is, obviously. I'm not a huge monster movie fan, especially pre-1980, but
he did so much more.
Yeah, I was interested in the fact that I didn't know he actually was a Canadian for a short time. That was interesting. Apparently, yeah, he moved up to BC and worked in Vancouver in Kamloops. So I guess
he was moving up to the west
honorary
side.
Canadian, and then of course he moved to Hollywood and made his money there. And he also apparently was one of the major factors in the forming of the Screen Actors Guild, which of course is a huge deal now. But back then, actors weren't paid what they were worth. So, yeah, and yeah, it was interesting. But like Bryce said, didn't tell you anything about him personally. Basically, it was just a catalog of his movies, which, you know, I didn't know most of them. I mean, I knew about obviously Frankenstein and The Mummy and The Grinch. That was pretty much it. So yeah, it was okay. It's just a meh.
Oh no. Interesting fact.
Yes.
Boris was 5 feet 11 inches, which is actually shorter than both Vincent Price and Bela Lugosi.
Yeah, he didn't look very tall.
Yeah, but this man's presence is so looming over every single person that you ever put on screen with him.
Yep.
You would think he's 7 feet tall. I've never said this ever before, anywhere, but thank God Boris never became a Canadian. But I kind of want to say thanks, Canada, for bringing great actors to the world for so many years. Isn't that right, Mur?
Sure.
Like your favorite man of the universe, who's also been given a very honorary Canadian award.
My favorite man in the
What
universe.
the hell are you talking about, Jim? What tangent are you going off on?
I'm just so excited.
Either.
I'm just so excited that Boris lived in Canada.
Yeah, for like 2 years or something, but yeah,
I don't know. His heart was still here always.
I gave him a start anyway.
That's right. And his eyes, oh my God.
Yes.
Was he ever gorgeous when he was young? Like people, as he aged, like he should have done his eyebrows. But when he was young, man, he was gorgeous. You could melt into those eyes.
So of course, married 6 times.
Of course, right before he murdered you.
Yeah.
Frankenstein trivia question, Bryce. Okay. You got 3 choices. Number 1, throw the kid in the water.
Yeah.
Number 2, toss the kid in the water. Or the final one, don't show the kid going into the water. What do you think? It's not really a trivia question. More so, what would your preference have been in the movie Frankenstein? Because there was 2 versions, and I'm knowing you probably have seen both.
Yeah, you got to throw the kid. Hello, Jim?
I don't remember the movie, so...
Throw it or toss it?
Throw it.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. My internet is unstable.
Yeah, tell us about it. You're cutting in and out.
Just like my brain.
Yeah.
For those of you that were wondering, we're not all in the same room this week because, stuff happens.
No.
Stuff happens.
Yep. Murray's hanging out with shady characters who collect COVID.
Apparently.
Yeah, I think I would have thrown him in the water too.
Yes.
Not just tossed. That kid would have went flying.
Well, if you don't show the kid going in the water, then why are they hunting him at the end of the movie?
Well, there's in the doc, it actually talked a little bit about it. About the fact that was a bone of contention. So I thought it was interesting that and the director gave so much grief to Boris because of that disagreement that it's like he almost broke his back, literally. So interesting, the symmetry between Karloff and Lugosi. as actors being thrown away characters. And yet years later, who do you remember? These are the people that you remember, these great actors. But Karloff truly stood the test of time above all other actors of that generation. And what about Jack Pierce? What a genius in the makeup world. Better than, I would say, probably most makeup artists, even working today. Just look at his work on The Mummy and Frankenstein. Mummy alone it's probably, like, I know it's black and white, but it's so detailed. And imagine the amount of work that had to go to put him into that every single episode of shooting. It's beyond me. Not all documentaries of real peepers are always that interesting. The fact that this film is about a genius of historical acting and theater alone makes this captivating. I had a smile on my face the entire film, and learning more about one of my favorite actors of all time is a rare treat. I love the choice of the people interviewed. I love the story of the great adopted Canadian man. And I just really like this film. I kind of don't necessarily need to know more about him. I just wanted to spend an hour and a half with Boris Karloff and people who loved him. It was a mondo for me.
There you go. I tried to take the fanboy, out of this because, I love Boris Karloff, and I think he's one of the greatest actors that's ever been. Like, I legit think that Frankenstein, the way that he acts with his eyes there is like anybody that wants to be an actor needs to watch him do his thing. And I don't agree with what they called the movie, because you're not really learning about the man behind the monster. Now, having said that,
learn stuff.
You didn't learn much.
But you're not learning, like, I don't know. I think he was a very private person. They even talked about that. I think what you got to learn is a bit of his past, which you did get to hear about, how many brothers and sisters he had, where he came from, that type of stuff. But you didn't get to know his personal life, and I'm okay not knowing that. I like them. I loved hearing the other actors and directors about what he did and where he came from, how he was an influence. I mean, the fact that Gerald,
I loved all that too.
Yeah, I get it. I kind of know why that you may not have loved it as much, but yeah, for me it was. I just enjoy it. Anything you get like that it didn't tarnish. Like, if there would have been a scene that you found out he was a really bad asshole, it might have tarnished me, and I might have not liked it as much. But
that's what ended up happening for me. Is all of a sudden I've got all these questions about, okay, he was married 6 times. There must be something there. It was like all of a sudden I'm like drawing my own conclusions here, where I wish that they either just left it alone completely, or gave us a little more of it. And I think that the fact that they didn't do either of those left me going, ugh.
Just like Britney Spears, you wanted more. I understand.
I either wanted more or I wanted less. I just didn't want what they gave me.
Well, you liked it. You just didn't.
I loved a lot of it. But I wanted either less of his personal life, like almost none, just give me, or give me all of it. Just don't give me a little bit. So you're really what I'm hearing you say is you wanted it to be like a docuseries that lasted like 10 hours. Yes, I wanted more Boris Karloff. I think that's why it's a meh for me, because it needs to be 10 hours. Who doesn't? I mean, I need more Boris Karloff. I need a 10-hour docuseries. I don't need 98 minutes or whatever it was. It's not enough time. Nobody could make a mondo in 98 minutes of Boris Karloff, because I want so much more. Apparently, it did for me. Yeah, apparently I just had like way higher, expectations. I wanted so much more. But it was good. I liked it. I'll say it again. Just like Britney Spears. Yeah, give me more. I don't know what that means. Well, moving on. All right. Moving on then. We were supposed to watch this at my house, but apparently not all of us got to see it at my house. How many got to see it at your house? 2, but not the 2 plus 1, which would have been intended. I'm very sad, although I'm sure Murray's not too disappointed he didn't get to see this on VOD. Not really. We got to see the movie Clean. Which is
Written, score, produced, and acted by my man, Adrien Brody. Man, this movie takes its time. You're seeing Adrien slowly moving through the story. And as usual, is always brilliant.
He's brilliant, yeah.
Thank God he's back to features. Every look and expression in his face is telling, and in every single shot. And then, just like that, cleaning the fucking squid happens, and shit starts to happen live stream style. And we get Adrian Wick gets a Baba Yaga with mob rules, dirty cops, PTSD, and some maybe convenient awareness from our man, Mr. Clean, and his ability to evade cops, bad guys, and pretty much everybody. I like seeing my man, Adrien Brody, kick ass and punch dicks like a real tradesman with his wrench and screwdriver. However, some of the scenes were perhaps just a little coincidental and a bit too cornball is the word I want to use. Don't get me wrong, I like the violence, but there was nothing new here. I liked it. I loved Brody, but this movie was meh. And I have a few things to unpack we'll talk about when Bryce talks.
Yeah, I'll keep it pretty short and tight here. Clean it's very interesting when it focuses on Brody's character, Mr. Clean, as you called him. And his struggles within his own mind and his attempts at redemption, his dealing with his violent past as he tries to move on is absolutely fascinating. I love the first part of this movie. Loved it. And, that as a character study would have been a very welcome tale to witness. The violent, corny, convenient ending to this was far less welcome for me. This was not great, but Brody's performance elevates the material that he himself wrote along with director Paul Soleil. The movie was okay, I guess, and perhaps it suffered from my own expectations of an Adrien Brody film, but Clean was meh.
I really wanted it to be more.
I know.
I really did.
And it started
had so much hope.
Yeah,
I was so much hope.
I was all in for 45, 50 minutes, and then it started to lose me a little, and then by the end, I'm like, just shaking.
It was
my
like,
head.
Okay, so do you think that Adrien is just such a big fan of Keanu Reeves? That's why he made this movie?
Gonna go with no.
I don't really see that.
Did you really think it was like super duper John Wick-esque? I mean, a little bit.
It was totally John Wick-esque. I mean, yeah, either that or he was trying to make MacGyver meets the Equalizer.
See, I like that.
It was one of the two. I wasn't sure.
MacGyver meets the Equalizer.
It didn't seem to fit is what I would go with.
Yeah.
Like, he seems so unaware through the first part of the movie, and then all of a sudden he gets bashed in the head and he gets like 27 staples in his head, and all of a sudden now he's John Wick. Like there was no gradual movement into that. It's just so.
And with the care that everything was like built up with to that point, really everything was taken slow, and we were just getting a little glimpse of this and that, and we're tying it all together, and then all of a sudden it's like you get a pie in the face, and it's just
it kind of did feel like pie in the face, and not a delicious pie.
What happened to this movie I was enjoying so much?
It's kind of funny because I think for me it was clean the fucking squid scene. It was that moment where it flipped a switch, and it was just like, okay, yeah, wah, wah.
Yeah.
And just a lot of convenient things, like the one girl, the only person he talks to on the planet other than his barber, and it just so happens that this is the girl they're gonna try and rape. Like,
stupid.
I freaking hate stuff like that. And then just by coincidence, it also happens to be the guy that is also the Squid King. Like, it was like too many conveniences all at once.
Yeah.
Like, it should have just happened a little bit different. Like, somehow they should have identified him when he actually ID'd the Squid King, and then they followed him and then did something to her, or something that wasn't conveniently happening. It's
just
like, oh, look.
Anything but what they did.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, we did get to go to the cinema, and I don't know, Murray, did you get to sneak out and see it between?
No.
All right. Well, that's unfortunate for us. But, Bryce, do you want to talk about it?
Sure. I would love to talk about this movie. This movie should be talked about by many people because I hope a lot of people see this movie. And I'll tell you why. Okay. Torn, which we saw at Canyon Meadows Cinema, and I believe is still playing. So if you catch this podcast and you go, boy, I live in Calgary and I want to go to the movies, go over to CMC, see yourself a documentary called
go to CMC.
There you go. Torn sneaked up on me. This story of a climber with a family that meets his demise in an avalanche, and the way his family dealt with the tragedy was a fascinating and emotional journey. Director Max Lowe shows us his father, Alex's life as a professional climber, and how he attempted to justify the risks he took with his family life. You can see the balance that he tried to do. Although Alex did not refer to himself as a risk taker, but rather a risk controller. Unfortunately, Mother Nature cannot be controlled, and he died, leaving his 3 boys and wife to cope with the aftermath. It is at this point that the story starts to discuss some hard topics involving family and grief, and how long it takes to move on from a tragedy like this. It examines the different ways we deal with loss and how there is not a right way or a wrong way. It also focuses on the role of a father figure and what makes a dad a dad. There are some very heavy scenes in the last third of the film that will stay with me for quite a while. It is an exhausting emotional watch, but ultimately a somewhat cathartic one. Torn was Mondo.
Okay. Well, I did not love it nearly as much as you, and let me tell you why. So, lately, every time I see a film about mountain climbing, they have been a Mondo. Almost like it's a mountain climber movie. So it's a Mondo. Except this one is not the typical mountain climber movie.
No, it's not.
It's all about the anguish and trauma that mountain climbers leave behind in cases when they die. There are a lot of parts in this. You feel you are witnessing something we are really not supposed to be seeing. I normally don't like home movie documentaries. I find it is more of a made for family, not for the viewer. And for the most part, this film felt different. And I was really enjoying this journey we were on. But then the themes kept repeating itself. And there is at a point in this movie where Alex's wife, Jennifer, says, it's a happy ending. And everybody likes a happy ending, including her. But I'm not that person. And perhaps, that was almost a line from The Grinch. So perhaps.
Means a little
anyway,
more.
I was just trying to tie it. Yeah, I need his voice, Murray. I need his voice. Anyway, I'm just thinking perhaps it's because it seems to me like it started to get a bit stagey. And trying to tear at our heartstrings like it did for their family as they were experiencing it. In a film that people were crying a lot, I was not. Plus, I did look at my watch, wondering when this movie was going to end.
Never did.
Feeling it was already 2 hours had passed. And I was, thinking to myself, I looked at my watch and I went, what? It hasn't been 2 hours? It's only been an hour? I'm like, ugh. So I didn't cry. It was too long. And although it's a mountain climber movie, the rule apparently no longer applies to me. It was meh. I didn't get the emotion. I just felt they kept going over the same thing.
I didn't get the staginess at all. I thought that it was all very natural. I thought that Max's journey was very natural, and that scene with his
him and his mom.
No. Well, that was some pretty heavy stuff. But actually, a scene with Conrad towards the end of the movie, I thought was quite poignant and kind of wrapped it up. And I thought it was a natural journey to that point. And I don't think it in any way that Max knew that he was going to have that interaction towards the end of the movie. And I thought that And while, I'm not one that does tear up, that was a very touching scene, and the whole movie will definitely stay with me. I respectfully disagree. We obviously didn't connect in the same way. I will say that sometimes, and you can deny this or you can agree with it, but sometimes films like this where it involves fathers and sons, you're not as affected by them as I am. And
yeah, I would say that could be
I
still have my dad.
And I think that's a thing. I lost my dad, and this connected with me, and I really enjoyed it, and maybe that's a thing. Maybe if maybe
you're I guess it could be because I would say on top of that, I mean, I guess where my mind goes on this is that being a father, which you were also not, is I'm going through this. I'm like, okay, the guy was a dick, and the guy that she married was also a dick.
Were they though?
They're both. Yeah, I mean,
well, he was okay. The guy that she marries was, but he's definitely not anymore. Like he and I realized that he still went, afterwards, but not to the extent like.
I don't know. That's just what I mean. Is that they kind of edited that part out of it. We don't know.
I don't think Max would have.
They're steering you in a direction they want you to go. It was micromoralized to the max. There was scenes in this, even the scene, I'm sorry, they go find his body in the mountains as if like they found the body in the mountains and they were there at the bottom of it when they brought it down, and then she has to take the ring off and put it on. Like, oh, that was so stagey. It was like,
it sounded like it was staged.
There was too much stage, man.
No.
I get it. It's an emotional journey.
No, if after all those years the body was found, they absolutely all would have gone to there to.
No, I don't doubt they wouldn't have gone.
Okay,
but the fact that make it sound like they were waiting. No, they were on this journey and they took the camera and everything. Blah blah. I mean, it's a documentary.
Of course they did.
I had a hard to believe that they're waiting at the bottom of the hill, watching them bring the body down. How long does it take to get? They find the body. And then how long does it take to get from the States over there and then hike how many miles to get to where they're got to be? And they're going to wait for them. Let's wait until they get here before we take the body down the mountain. There was a lot of stage, man. There was just, and there was more. It was like pieces all the way through it.
The fact that they wanted to have the ceremony, I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with you there.
Well, we'll never know. I do think it was a different kind. I like the fact that it wasn't a traditional mountain climbing movie.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that, they did need to show a movie where the mountain climber dies, and this is the wake that's left in its path. So I liked a lot about that. I just felt it felt a little stagey and repetitively stagey, and for that reason, I didn't love it. And maybe I'll watch it. Maybe we'll watch another movie like this in a few years when my dad's passed away. And maybe you and I we'll hold
agree.
hands and cry together. I don't know.
There you go. All right, sir.
Temperature rising. Vision blurring. Rage taking over.
Rage. My rage is documentaries that are stagey. That's it. That's my rage. I'm like,
I absolutely agree with you. I just don't agree that the documentary you just watched was stagey. I mean, there's some staginess to any documentary that's along this line, because there has to be. I mean, whether you want it to be or not, when you're editing your footage, you're trying to tell a story, and some of it's gonna come across as stagey. But most of this was very natural. I connected with it.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't. That's why I think it's stagey. Well, I'm not specifically talking about this particular.
Oh, I know. There's tons.
I hate it. We watch a lot of film and we watch a lot of documentaries. Like, I don't know if we were on another podcast not that long ago, and we talked about our two favorite genres that we like to talk about, which are horror and international dramas. And
Yes.
I'm like, I think Doc's got to be up there too, because there's some amazing.
Jim, we
docs
just
that
like
tell-
film. We'll talk about anything. It's like, but
True.
if
It's true.
if
but,
it's either really bad or really good, we're all over it.
but to me, the sign of a really, and we've talked about this in the past, the sign of a really good documentary is that it's just the facts, man. Just the facts. Don't try and steer us in a direction to change our viewpoint. Just give us the facts. Those are the best docs.
They are.
And when you're going to produce a doc that you can go in a few different directions, don't steer us in the direction. And this is just in general. Just give us the facts.
Yep.
That's the rage.
Fair enough. So my rage, rinse and repeat. Nothing new at the cinemas. January was awful. February does not seem to be looking much better as I look ahead. When Jackass Forever seems to be the highlight of the month, I think we have a problem. Other than that, we get another Agatha Christie adaptation by Kenneth Branagh, a Jennifer Lopez and Owen Wilson romantic comedy. Halle Berry is a scientist saving the world from being smashed by the moon. Some crap. Liam Neeson action flick. Channing Tatum and his dog.
Oh, God.
And Marky Mark and Tom Holland in a video game adaptation. Looks like another stellar month. Ugh.
Yeah, I don't think there's one movie I'm excited to see this month.
Well, and for your information, I didn't really post about this, but Moonfall, the production company that made it, just pulled it from Canadian theaters.
Did it?
Because of everything happening out in Ontario, they didn't want it. So it's not going to be in Canada at all.
Darn.
Which is
It's going to
this
be
one?
running in the States, but not in Canada.
Is this the moon scientist one with Halle Berry?
It's the Halle Berry one, and then the guy from
Why? Because there's
and I've had to watch a preview
Because
for it
they're
every
afraid
movie.
there aren't enough theaters, they're going to play it. Because the Ontario theaters aren't open yet. Quebec's just opening up, so I guess they're freaked out. So they decided not to distribute it in Canada.
Wow.
Which actually, I was kind of looking forward to seeing it.
All right, we dodged a bullet.
Woo!
Yeah, but there's still Jackass Forever.
There is.
There is Jackass
Which I'm probably
Forever.
not going to see.
What? Murray? That's the best movie that's going to be coming out this year, I think.
I can tell you one of the
This
highlights
year.
of me watching the Royal Rumble on Saturday was watching Johnny Knoxville get splashed and squashed by a wrestler from the top rope.
Oh,
That was pure joy.
all right. Well, so
Because
you
he
are
shouldn't even have
excited.
been in there. But yeah. So he lasted 2 minutes and somebody landed on him from the top rope. So
Happy birthday, Johnny.
exactly. Anyway, so yeah, I may not go see it, but that's okay. I don't have to go to the movie theater this weekend.
Wait.
Rage.
So that was your rage, I guess so.
Pulse slowing. Anger fading.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
We are Cheap Seat Reviews, the podcast that explores the Hollywood film industry for the greater good. Join us each week as we dive into the depths of streaming movies for the greater good. You can find us on Twitter at CheapSeatCast, Facebook.com/CheapSeatReviews, and our website is CheapSeatReviews.libsyn.com. All for the greater good.
How can this be for the greater good? Shut it!
I freaking love those
Did
guys.
enjoy that.
For the greater good.
Greater good.
Make sure you watch
movies.
the Cheap Seat Reviews
One of my favorite movies.
for the greater good. Oh, baby.
All right, well, I had a slightly different one planned for this week, but I decided to change it to something a little more timely.
What?
Yeah, I can always say the other one for next time. For all you sporty sport types, the Winter Olympics starts this week. Now, you can either go out and see the latest Jackass movie,
Yes.
or stay home where it's warm and watch some finely tuned athletes do their best for their country.
That's kind of like
So
the
this
Jackass
week I
movie.
present the best of both worlds, movies based on Olympic athletes.
Oh God,
Some
you're not
good,
going to talk
some
about that
bad.
skating movie.
This is
again.
going to be
I
terrible.
haven't. You just have to find out. Some are real, some are not, but they all did their part to tell the story of unforgettable Olympic moments.
Okay.
Starting with the skating movie,
Ah,
The Cutting Edge,
Oh, God.
1992.
Topic.
That's right. Former hockey player gets a head injury and can't play hockey anymore, so he's paired up with a spoiled figure skater for a shot at the Olympics. Yes, the movie lacks credibility. There's literally no one else other than this hockey player who knows how to skate. But these two actually have enough chemistry to make it work. Silly, but unquestionably cheerful. Olympic connection, these two crashed into each other in the hallway of the Saddle Dome during the 88 Winter Olympics before they start working together. So there. And my favorite line, yes, toe pick.
we just make a comment that we have reviewed this movie on
Yes,
our
I believe
podcast
you have.
as a
I didn't say
rage.
it was good. I just say it was Olympics.
It's literally on my bottom 5 movies in the history of cinema.
And it had Calgary in it. So there. Next
That
up
is
is
good.
another Calgary connection, Cool Runnings.
Oh baby,
Probably the first Winter Olympics movie that comes to mind, and that's something right there. The Jamaican bobsled team make up the perfectly charming underdogs, your fish out of water type deal, and movie's secret weapon is John Candy, showing a certain grit later in his career as the grizzled coach with a dark past and a chance at redemption. Based on the real Jamaican sledders who came to Calgary in
Loosely.
1988, were laughed at and had a chance to do something before, spoiler alert, they crashed on their third run. Still inspirational.
Mm.
Next up, we have I, Tonya, 2017. Okay, yeah, the filmmakers played fast and loose with the facts of Tonya Harding's life and her involvement in the Nancy Kerrigan incident. I, Tonya is an entertaining film. It isn't quite as smart or as deep as it wants to be. And it really decides whether we're supposed to take this seriously or not. And there's some greatness there, starting with Margot Robbie's committed performance, along with, of course, Allison Janney's withholding cruel mother,
So good.
which she was nominated for. I think she won an Oscar for.
So good.
Plus, the actual scenes of ice skating are sort of terrific. The
Good
movie
movie.
isn't really well shot otherwise, but it is at least comfortable on the ice and in motion. Olympic connection, 1992-94 Winter Games, where the notorious clubbing took place.
It's Mondo.
Mondo.
Next up, we have another Calgary connection, Eddie the Eagle,
Woo!
2015, which apparently CTV decides to just show ad nauseum for the last 3 weeks.
How many movies have they made around the Calgary Olympics?
That would be 3, at least. So here we have the least historically accurate Olympic-themed film of them all, but one of the more entertaining. Michael Eddie the Eagle Edwards became the first British ski jumper to compete in the Winter Olympics, and he finished dead last.
But he
We'll let
finished.
Anybody in the Calgary
But
Olympics.
to take a quote from the inventor of the Olympic Games, the most important thing is not to win, but just to take part. And the most important thing is not to win, is not to triumph, but the struggle.
Yes.
See, I think the you have to have a minimum skill level to be able to.
Well, they
compete
do
with-
now. I mean, he never qualified after that, but I mean,
Yeah, of course
it
not.
was still inspirational.
Yeah,
Like,
he got
I
in
don't
on
care
a
if you're the
loophole.
best. I don't
And it-
care
and
if
it
you're the
happened
best
right
in
here.
your country.
Happened
You
like
can't-
10 miles from my house.
If I was a high level athlete, I'd be totally embarrassed that someone just.
Well,
snuck
they
in.
all were, but he did it. And anyway,
He
the role was
captured
beautifully
the
played
hearts of
by
the world.
Talented Taron Egerton, who managed to capture Eddie's true awkwardness. Helping him along the way is Rebel ski jumping coach Hugh Jackman, who is not based on a real guy, but it's Hugh Jackman, so who cares? The director was actually inspired to make this film after watching Cool Runnings.
Ah,
No
And
kidding.
yes, this film also has connections. Booyah.
it was meh.
Oh yeah.
Finally,
Those,
we
man.
have Miracle, 2004. Admittedly, I have not seen this.
Count
First
yourself.
off, I don't really like hockey that much. And other than Slapshot, I don't even like hockey movies. And it's about the American hockey team. Go Canada. But it's a timeless story based on real events. Director Gavin O'Connor's portrait of the U.S. men's hockey team, which despite long odds defeated its heavily favored rivals to win gold at the 1980 Winter Olympics. It stars Kurt Russell as Coach Herb Brooks and relies on unknown actors to portray the scrappy bunch of no-name athletes. If you're into hockey, you would enjoy this. Or go and watch the real thing. That's all I got.
We might be watching a lot of hockey and sports this next 2 weeks.
It starts tomorrow.
Nice.
That's all I got.
It was so much fun, Mur.
I tried.
You don't have to try. You're just that good. Well, I got nothing for the list this week.
No, me either. Oh yeah, I guess I gotta read it tonight.
Nothing yet.
No, nothing yet.
We're still talking about the. We're talking about the list.
Nothing. Did we? I mean, we had. You know what we should do?
What should we do?
And it may be unanimous, but we should probably go through Boris Karloff's library.
So it's,
I haven't seen enough
it's
really.
60 years of films there.
Right, but we only have to go through the last 8 to see if he's undoubted.
You mean all those B movies that he made at the end of his career?
Yeah, I don't know that I've seen maybe 2 out of his last 8. Maybe 4.
Well, then it might be a journey we have to go on, buddy.
Okay, well, let's pull up Boris Karloff. I'm sure everybody's sitting on the edge of their seat as we go over the worst.
Hey, it's not like he can be taken off once he's on.
Well, I thought he was already on.
No, he could be mesmerizing, but apparently Bryce doesn't want to put anybody on the mesmerizing list, even if they're Boris Karloff. But maybe that'll come later in the episode.
That actually kind of crossed my mind. I'm like, if there is an exception, then, you know.
Well, you know what the exception is? We've already talked about it. It has to be unanimous. All 3 of us have to be like, oh yeah, that's a given.
Yeah.
So let's take him through the journey. And Bryce, do you want to record this? Do you have paper? So we got to figure out what we got to say.
Okay, I'm already looking at this, and I've seen 1, 2, 3 TV series, TV movie. I've seen like 3 of them.
Yeah, I think I've seen like 4 of them. But I have a feeling, based on the ratings of some of them, that were, to Murray's point, I have a feeling he's just not going to make it.
No, at the end of his
career, got a 3.4.
One of these is going to be a rage. I can almost guarantee.
Oh yeah, no.
3.7.
I can already tell you that I didn't realize that Fear Chamber was the last thing he was in, and it was a rage.
I have to admit, I also saw it. It was a rage.
So that was quick.
He can't start from 8 from now unless he's doing Ghost Dad 2.
Yeah. Ghost Dad 2.
Ghost Dad 2. No.
No, well,
so,
I mean,
that was that was a good idea, Jim. I'm glad we did that.
Yeah, well, to quote the documentary, when they asked him to do Broadway, he said, "I'm not that good of an actor."
Yeah,
but he was wrong.
He was totally wrong.
He's the best actor.
I mean, it was a great line.
Modest.
I actually saw the play. It was performed here. I didn't realize that's where I'd start. It's like, you made me look like Boris Karloff.
Yeah. Well, that was
because it's Boris Karloff.
That would have been so great to be at that first, show where all of a sudden it is actually Boris Karloff.
Actually Boris
Karloff.
Karloff.
That would be hilarious.
That was kind of funny. And considering he does mostly horror, because it's quite a funny play.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I think we still have to do it. I absolutely believe every single movie I've seen him in.
Oh, he's
there's
so
nobody
mesmerizing.
Else on screen.
Yeah.
He's so mesmerizing.
So mesmerizing.
He absolutely takes over.
I'm okay with that.
All right, fine. Put him on the mesmerizing list.
Because he have to be.
I
know.
Mesmerizing. Yeah.
But now we have to take somebody off. Let's pick some victims. Murray's going to come up next week with a mesmerize off with just 2 of our mesmerized list. Yes.
Just mono and mono. Try to find one movie
wano
where we gotta have a showdown.
One of them's coming off. Except our Mesmerized for Life.
Yes.
They can never compete because they're.
I don't even
golden.
remember who they are.
Well,
yours was Wanda Sykes. Murray's was
Mine was Wanda Sykes.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. So. That's so good. Okay,
yeah.
I'm good with that.
It was between her and Awkwafina, and then Murray punted Awkwafina. So you didn't save Awkwafina; you saved Wanda Sykes, and mine's Sean Penn. So
wow, cool.
Yeah,
I forgot that. That's so awesome.
All right,
I'm really happy right now. Wanda Sykes is Mesmerized for life.
All right, Murray's picking up the gauntlet, and we're going to have a Mesmerize off for this coming week, because Murray's going to find it and tell it to Bryce and I before next week. So.
All right,
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to watch it for next week, because we don't have a hell of a lot of other shit to watch.
So basically, you got like 2 or 3 days to come up with this, Mur.
Yep.
But the Olympics are on.
Well, what time does the Olympics start tomorrow?
It started about an hour ago, actually.
What? The opening ceremonies?
No, the ceremony is like Friday morning, but...
Oh.
Key games tomorrow night. Whatever, I'll work on it.
All right.
There you go. You got all day tomorrow.
Die by then.
The only thing you have to accomplish tomorrow is to find us.
No, it's not the only thing.
I'm sure he's got other things in his life, Jim.
I do.
What?
Alrighty. Last week on Rage or Dare, Bryce chose Dare and built a 2000 live-action version of a cartoon about a squirrel and a moose. Sounds great, doesn't it? This week, Jim's back in the hot seat alone and can choose to rage or dar. I believe that should be dare. Let's check in with Bryce and see if there's another Oscar-winning performance by Robert De Niro or if the squirrel and moose out-act him.
Well. The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle from the year 2000 is a good time. If you are a fan of the original cartoon, there is a similar sensibility to the humor. The introduction of the film is brilliant and had me laughing out loud. Jason Alexander and Rene Russo as Boris and Natasha were well cast. De Niro goes all in on his portrayal of a fearless leader to various degrees of success. The movie does lose steam in its last third, but it's still enjoyable as you could tell how much fun the cast was having, which included many cameos from the likes of Randy Quaid, Janine Garofalo, Carl Reiner, Jonathan Winters, John Goodman, and many others. The most memorable... I can't talk today. The most memorable cameo was from Billy Crystal as a mattress salesman that by itself made the entire film worthwhile. I laughed as hard as I have watching any film in the last quite a while when Crystal proclaimed, "That's a soft mattress." Trust me, it's hilarious. I laughed a lot and I smiled a lot. It was a fitting tribute to the cartoon. It was a funny and enjoyable meh. Once again, the fans have left me not happy here. I'm actually happy because I never watched the movie before, and I'm glad I did now.
Wow, I remember seeing this in theaters, and I hated it then, and I'm glad you picked it.
Oh man, it was funny. The opening sequence, the first 10 minutes, perfect.
Yeah, debatable.
Now, what should have been in there instead of this was the movie Boris and Natasha, starring Dave Thomas and Sally Kellerman, because that thing,
Thomas?
Yeah,
He's
Dave
awesome.
Thomas as Boris.
He is awesome.
That thing is a rage.
Dave Thomas alone is worth the price.
Exactly, he is worth it.
It's terrible. Have you watched Boris and Natasha, starring Dave Thomas and Sally Kellerman?
No, because I watched Rocky and Bullwinkle, and I hated it so much. I figured the next movie.
I don't know.
I never liked the cartoon.
Oh, the cartoon is brilliant. I love
the cartoon. Was dumb.
The cartoon is brilliant.
I would never go to a live action version of a cartoon I don't like.
So funny.
Sure.
That would be a double rage for Murray. All right, well, I can choose to rage or dar.
Or dar, yeah.
Oh,
I got bags there?
I don't have any bags here. Tell me which one, and I got to go hunt for it.
One is your bag, which I think has 2 nuggets.
2 of them in it. Yeah, and the other one is.
And the other one is
the big hefty bag of dares.
I think mine only has one. I think you should clean mine out. I only have one left. I only have one left.
No, I think I'm going to choose Dare.
Then it's
I think I just looked at the one. I think you really need to watch this one.
Nope, I am not. I'm choosing Dare.
By the way, I am not replenishing my bag till you watch this. So at some point, you're going to have to choose from my bag.
So
and
this
one film is waiting for you, and you are going to love it. But
let me guess.
We will put it aside.
It's a musical with children in it.
It doesn't matter.
It's a sports musical.
It doesn't.
A sports musical. It's going to be a sports musical biopic.
There is a sports musical.
Okay, so
biopic.
No, it wasn't bad.
Are you sure? There's got to be one.
Don't you ever score the hockey musical?
Oh God.
Yeah, it was here like how many years ago?
Oh my God.
It was the opening night of the festival.
So you're choosing from the Dare bag? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
That is correct.
I'm hoping that someone dared me to see John Wick 1.
Okay.
Because I was kind of craving to see it.
I'm shaking up the bag.
I couldn't imagine them putting a can of Reese's.
I am grabbing one movie from the bag. This is it. And it is...
I can't see it.
Oh, it's not that bad. I mean, it's, it's a zombie movie, isn't it?
I hope so. I can't tell. You haven't told us anything.
Flipping it around.
My boyfriend's back. Well, I think I own this.
There you go.
Is that a zombie movie?
It is a zombie movie.
Comes back as a zombie, does he?
Yeah. Her boyfriend's back and he's a zombie.
Well,
he's gonna be in trouble.
Okay, yeah, that's no fun. I don't think you're gonna.
My boyfriend's back. I am kind of excited.
There you go.
My boyfriend's back and I'm gonna be in trouble.
Right.
Hey la, hey la,
I think
boyfriend's back.
It's kind of weird because I love Rocky and Bullwinkle, and I got to watch the live action version, which I'd never seen before. And now you love zombie movies, and you get to watch zombie movies. So
I know. I'm already. This is. I thought there would be nothing in February that I was going to see that I might like.
But it's going to be the fan dare bag. Just come through for you.
That's right. I'm going to pick a Mondo this month, and by golly, it's going to be a zombie movie.
There you go.
Sweet Home Alabama. All right, well, you know what that means. Thanks, Ragers, for listening. Thanks, Extended Film Rage crew. You know who you are, and you know where to find them in our show notes. Find us on social media everywhere at Film Rage YYC. Check out everything Film Rage at filmrageyyc.com, including our merch site for Redbubble and TeePublic. Make sure to get your Film Rage Award t-shirts before the Oscars come out to prove that your voice is more important than anybody else's. We are always wanting to make this a raging blast for our listeners, so please comment, like, and subscribe, and send an email to filmragecalgary@gmail.com. Dare us to see terrible movies to fuel our rage. But no matter what you do, please make us rage. Please. Please. That's it for this week. Rage on!
Rage on!